pressure on max. Light in the dark, put the truth on blast. They bend, they fold, they crack, they cap. We stand unmovable, facts on facts. Torch in the night, yeah, flame on sight. Obey the Most High, we don't play both sides. Go hard, no fear, no truce, no lie. Let it burn through the dark, let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. I don't tiptoe truth, I kick down doors, law on my chest like a war drum roars. They want grace but ignore the orders, that's rebellion wrapped in holy borders. Militant walk, disciplined vision, words stay sharp, no superstition. Every precept hit like court decision, sentence sealed, no revision, permission. Coaches scream but they don't command me, inch and roll with the feet still stand me. They entertain, I'm battle ready, kingdom first, never secondary. Like too violent for shadow games, I don't dim down, I activate. Obedience heavy but crowns of weight, I don't chase seas, I dominate. No heart for the laws, pressure on max. Light in the dark, put the truth on blast. They bend, they fold, they crack, they cap. We stand unmovable, facts on facts. Torch in the night, yeah, flame on sight. Obey the Most High, we don't play both sides. Go hard, no fear, no truce, no lie. Let it burn through the dark, let it rise, let it rise, let it rise. I don't whisper bars, I issue decrees. Tongue stay sharp like judicial keys. Every line precise, no bends, no pleas. Law cut clean, no impurities. Glow in the dark like sirens and flares. Truth hit hard, leave permanent stares. You can't inherit crowns, skipping repairs. No law, no light, no seat, no heirs. I'm forged, not flexible, tested in fire. Precepts burn through counterfeit wires. When the light hits system, circuits expire. Truths overload, whole grids retire. Go hard for the laws, light in the dark, stand when it's lost. Torch from the start, go hard for the laws. Light in the dark, stand when it's lost. Torch from the start. I move heavy, every step got weight. Fear don't breathe while I congregate. Law carved deep, not up for debate. I don't negotiate truth, I legislate. They trade commandments for applause. I'd rather be hated than lawless and lost. If the world rage, that's minor cost. Means I didn't sell light for frost. I don't shine for clicks or views. I shine so the blind can choose. If it's war for the truth, I'll clear the room before I ever disarm the laws I use. We go hard for the law, pressure on max. Light in the dark, put the truth on blast. They bend, they fold, they crack, they cap. We stand unmovable, facts on facts. Torch in the night, yeah, flame on sight. Obey the Most High, we don't play both sides. Go hard, no fear, no truth, no lie. Let it burn through the dark, let it ride, let it ride, let it ride.
Restoring the nation. Let's go.
H.O.E.S mission.
Everywhere we go, four corners of the earth, let the whole world know. Teach repentance, bring the light, march in the truth, day and night. H.O.E.S where we declare, from SK to and I, yeah, we everywhere. From St. Kitts straight to New York, black, we now whisper truth here, or we talk. Let's get to China and right to Guyana. This truth real, not propaganda. Repent and rise, mess away. H.O.E.S mission every day. H.O.E.S mission. Everywhere we go, four corners of the earth, let the whole world know. Teach repentance, bring the light, march in the truth, day and night. H.O.E.S shines where we declare, from SK to and I, yeah, we everywhere. Everywhere. It's a mission, not a moment.
All praises to the Most High. We get to keep it again this time. It's a Sabbath day, we enjoy it. It's a Sabbath day, enjoy that. No working, no buying, no selling, no way. We prepped it all before, so we're ready today. It's a Sabbath day, whole family, don't ignore that. Come real near, sing a song, dance a dance, be happy, be merry. It's the Sabbath, don't miss it, be grateful, be cheery. Kitchen's clean, food already made, clothes laid out, yeah, we plan to stay. Books open wide, scriptures on display, learning His word in a righteous way. Did you really keep it if you stayed alone? Sabbath for the people, not a screen or phone. Congregate, come together, that's the call.
This is a CBS News special report. We are following a series of catastrophic events unfolding in real time across the globe. Stay with us.
Yeah. 6 days pass, 7th is a go. That's when truth start to really show. Saturday we set apart.
The truth of Christ transforms us.
Check your heart. Saturday we set apart. Do our part.
Pay close attention to this passage. I see, I will note it.
One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2. All praises. Welcome. Most High in Christ bless you, your families, and your loved ones. All praises to the Most High. Gather in here. All praises. Sending a special Shabbat Shalom, happy Sabbath to each and every one of you Sabbath keepers out there. You keep the Sabbath holy. All praises to the Most High. Welcome once again. Blessings to you and your families and your loved ones. All praises. Now, today's class, toxic hoes and baby mamas, our modern day oppressors. Now, when we say toxic hoes, we're not coming from a place of condemnation. We're not coming from a place of perpetuating the stereotype. We're coming from a place as systematically, this is what a lot of our women, not all of our women, a lot of our women have been basically engineered to be systematically. And we're going to uncover some of that systematic engineering so that we can correct the behavior. Again, the only how you can correct the behavior within our nation, because our job is to restore the nation. If we don't look at the ills, you cannot put paint over a building that is structurally in a deficit and think just a slab of paint is going to do the job. No, if there's issues within the building that needs fixing, you have to look at the structural damage. A slab of paint won't do it. And so our community have been putting slabs of paint on things that need the internal mechanics needs fixing. And the only how you can look at the internal mechanics, you got to look at some of the ugly things that make up the internal mechanics. Some of the things that people do not want to talk about, people feel uncomfortable speaking on. They feel triggered. That's the word, triggered, right? How dare he name the class like that? Toxic. That's what it is. We have a community and a nation of toxic hoes and baby mom. It's a problem. It's a cancer within our community that must be solved. All right? So welcome to the class once again. Get in here, get in here, get in here. All praises. All right, so we're going to the first scripture. All right? Proverbs 31 and verse 10. Because you got to understand who our women originally were, their value. All right? We touched on this last class. Proverbs 31 and 10.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
So our women were originally engineered to be virtuous women, but now the question is, who can find one? Who can find one? Because through certain systematic processes or processes, you find that virtuous women have dwindled to being a needle in a haystack. So who can find one? Read on.
For her price is far above rubies.
Her price is far above rubies. You can't find her. Where's she at? You're going to find more toxic hoes and baby mamas more than virtuous women and wives. That's a fact. We're not speaking something that's not facts. All right. Jump down to verse 26 for me.
Verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
Sorry, give me verse 28.
Verse 28.
Yes, verse 28.
Verse 28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her.
Good. So what we got to understand is that this is what our women used to be. Our women are not this today, most of them. Now, we're trying to get our sisters to come back to this through the commandments, through the scriptures, through coming into the truth. Okay? Good. Give me the book of Sirach. Sirach 26 and verse 1.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double.
Oh, so the number of his days shall be double if a man has a virtuous wife, a righteous wife. That woman adds, what's that, flesh to his bones. That woman cares about him. But now our women today, they don't care about nothing because that's how they've been engineered. They've been systematically engineered and programmed to not care about nothing other than themselves. And even with that, it's not true self-care. It's a very destructive type of self-care that you see women, they give themselves. It's very destructive. Like a woman saying, I want to just be free to do whatever I want to do and sleep with as many men as I want to in today's time. A woman thinks that's self-care. That's me choosing me. You ever heard that? I'm choosing me. I'm choosing me so I could lay with as many men as I want to lay with. That's the modern engineering that have fooled many of our, young women and older ones. But where did it come from, right? Where did it really, really come from? We'll get into that. All right, give me verse 2.
Verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
In peace. Our women are not a reflection of this today. When they say be his peace, sis, she said, no, I'm not going to be his peace. I'm going to be his destruction. But again, our women were engineered that way, all right, for a few reasons. It's not all their fault, but a lot of it is partially their fault. Not 100%. Okay, we got to call a spade a spade. We're not going to sit up here and just pander and, we got to call a spade a spade. All right? Give me verse 13.
Verse 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones.
Like I mentioned earlier, it will put flesh on his bones. When his bones get weak, it's just an allegory for saying that, listen, if you're a man and you're living with a woman who you're already getting older and, your bones are getting weak, this woman that cares for you, she will add life to you, life to your bones. A destructive woman kills you faster. A destructive woman actually makes you want to kill yourself. The scriptures say a contentious woman, a man would rather live where? On the top of a rooftop. You understand that? It would make that man want to go and take a rope, find the nearest tree, and literally just off himself and say, listen, I would rather that than to deal with a contentious, argumentative, strong, black, angry woman. So they label themselves, right, Captain? I'm a strong, black, independent black woman. You never hear men saying that, right? I'm a strong, independent black man. But we understand the mentality and where it comes from. So again, we're not bashing our beautiful, beautiful Israelite sisters, but we're exposing a very incorrect and a very erroneous process that has kept our nation at the bottom for a very long time. It's been perpetuated, carried on, and passed on through generations. But we must be able to systematically dissect that thing so we can heal that thing. Okay? You must expose before you can heal. Good. So that was verse 13. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued.
Good. So it says a shamefaced woman, a woman that has some decorum about herself. Today, our women have no decorum. They have no manners. They have nasty attitudes. But we understand where it comes from. Some of you may not understand where it comes from. It comes from different roots, different areas. But you know what? We're not just going to point out the problem. We got to point out the root of the problem. All right? So read it again.
A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued.
A woman like that is above value. You cannot put a price on that. Okay, when a woman is your peace, and I wish that for all the brothers, that if you desire to have a wife, she be's your peace. Because when a woman is not your peace, right? Not only will you want to off yourself, like there's a lot of men right now going through some real tough situations, all because the woman who they're joined to does not bring them peace. She brings them chaos. A very chaotic world he has to wake up to every morning. And he doesn't know how to solve the chaos. He doesn't know how to, really get down to the nitty gritty. He doesn't know how to do so. Right? We're showing you what's behind the curtain. All right? So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 30.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife.
Good. So we're going into the curses now of the Israelites, and it says, you will get married to a wife. You will get engaged to a wife. But it's going into what happened on the plantation. So you got to go all the way back to captivity to see what really happened. Read on.
And another man shall lie with her.
Whoa, another what?
Another man shall lie with her.
So another man laid with her against her will, against her preference, against what she wanted to do. Now what's happening is, if you fast forward through all of those generations of the Israelite woman being pinned down, held down, raped against her will, she is subjugated against her will, she is demoralized against her will, she's made a piece of meat against her will. That internally does something to the mental psyche where you start believing that that is all that you're good for. You start believing the narrative, or if you're not mentally believing it, at least physically you're showing it. Your physical actions now fall into alignment of saying, well, this is all that I'm good for, is being what you call a bedwench. That's literally the term that they gave to the slave women who were there to just please the masters, the slave masters, the bedwench. So read it again from the top. You shall betroth a wife.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
So a woman is supposed to make a house a home, but she can't make a house a home if she's being graped at against her will. Right? She doesn't have a house to call a home. So something goes into the female psyche when anyone knows the term nesting. A woman is a nester by nature. And so how the Lord engineered the female species is that a woman is supposed to be the peace of the house. But when there's no house and there's no peace, And that systematically gets carried on. Generation after generation, that woman starts carrying within her DNA now, within her bloodstream, throughout her generations, something that is absolutely diabolical, a mentality that comes forth, that shows actions that is contrary to what the Lord originally implemented for our women to be engineered with. So it says, another man is going to lie with her. You're going to build a house and you're not going to dwell or live therein. Read on.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Ooh. So the curses come into full effect. Give me that first video, bedwench.
In the grim chapters of history, the plight of the bedwench or bedwarmer unveils a tale of unfathomable hardship. These were enslaved women forced to serve their masters in the most intimate and degrading of ways. Their duties extended beyond warming a bed. They were often victims of sexual abuse, their bodies seen as mere commodities. A young African woman's sacred honor, once reserved for her betrothed, was stolen and discarded. Eminent scholar E. Franklin Frazier, in his seminal work, The Negro Family in the United States.
And understand, it wasn't just sexual acts that she was forced to do. The most inhumane sexual acts. I hope you understand this. Very inhumane. You're talking about being defecated on, being urinated on. You're talking about putting objects in places that they shouldn't be. And our women had to suffer at the hands of these psychotic slave masters that did this to our women at their will, whenever they wanted to. Whenever they felt like getting their rocks off or felt like, being entertained. And a lot of times what would happen is they would entertain other slave masters from other counties, from other plantations, bring them over, and to show them a good hospitable time. Well, I got some fine wenches out there. You could take your pick. Imagine that. And one of them was your wife. You just betrothed her. You and her just jumped the broom last week. But now Massa got his friends coming over from another plantation, and he wants to show them a good time. He wants to show them a hospitable time. Food, lemonade, good delicacies, and of course, you have to stay the night. We're not going to allow you to go back on that long journey. But we have some good wenches, all right, of your pick. You pick. We have the best picks of the litter because they looked at them as commodities, tools, items, like a tool. That's where they get in. Hoe. That's a tool, right? That's a garden tool, right? It comes from the word whore. And a whore is a woman that sells for hire, sells her body for hire. But the problem is our women perpetuated something that should have never happened. They now do it for free. You understand? Play on.
Categorizes the sexual relations between master and female slave into three distinct categories. Firstly, there's the glaring horror of rape, where masters used threats of violence or promised reprieve from the lash to exploit these women. Secondly, Frazier discovered instances where enslaved women submitted to their master's desires to escape his wrath, lured into believing they were gaining concrete advantages such as better food, clothing, or a respite.
Gave them the idea that they would get better clothing, better treatment. What does that sound like today? All you have to do is just remove the man out of the home, and what will you get? The government's assistance with, food, housing subsidy, whatever you need. Just let us be your master. Let us be, your head, meaning the government. You understand that? Give me the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 41.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, but they shall go into captivity.
They shall go into captivity. So you will get sons and daughters, but you won't enjoy them. So, what that does to a mother when her children are taken away, right? Back then, that would cause a psychological deficit. A woman that has either lost a child, whether a child has passed away, a child has been given to someone else, even for those women who willingly gave up their children for adoption, after a while, what starts happening to that woman? For a lot of those women, they start thinking about what? The child that they gave up for adoption. And they start thinking, what would that child have been if I had stayed in its life? And so that causes something to psychologically happen when a woman's children is given away, right? It causes a different type of mental illness, a mental grieving that happens. All right? Give me verse 43.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
So you got to understand the strangers, those, other nations that were around us, mainly Esau, they helped to engineer this system that you see today. Like, for instance, CPS, where do you think that come from? Them having rulership and ownership over your children. It's another form of it. You won't be able to enjoy your children. And if we can create a system that makes you defunct, a system, because if you look at the classes that we showed before, we show you how to engineer these communities, these ghettos, to make them what? Impoverished, underdeveloped, so that you have no choice but to do what? Engage in activity that makes you unfit to be a mother. Because CPS is coming for your children if you strung out on drugs. If the father ain't in the home and things are it's like a danger to the child. All right? You have women today, they go on vacation and leave their children in the house by themselves. A 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. Because she want to go party in Miami for spring break. She got responsibilities, but she don't care about that in that moment. She's like, I'm going to send Uber Eats. And what I'm speaking about is a real thing. There was a young lady, she literally went on a trip, left her 2 children in the house. I spoke on it before. And she went partying wherever she went and got mad when CPS showed up to take the children to a family member. She got mad with the family member, like, how dare you? So you got to look at it as there's a mental deficiency that happens when those who are engineering our conditions, they put you in a position to be unfit to be a mother, unfit to be a wife. So what we're left with is toxic hoes and baby mamas. And now we have a culture of baby mamaism and toxic hoism. And that's the culture of it's perpetuated in the music. Young girls are taught to be hoes, and it's something attractive. Right? All of the Cardi B's and the Young Miamis and the Ice Spices and the Lottos and all of these. And I'm sure, as I'm speaking now, some of the captains is like, who's that? You got to be engaged with what these young people are familiarizing themselves with so that you can help to solve those areas where they're falling off. The scripture said, don't be ignorant in anything large or small. So we must know what's going on so we can help to fix the problem. Now, verse 43 says the stranger. So it's talking about those who are in power, those who engineer the conditions for us. Everyone talks about the toxic whole culture and the baby mama culture, but not those who engineered the culture. Not those who made the culture even an option for us to be living. But the stranger, the Most High is showing you that the stranger that's above he's going to get up above you what? Very high. High position. Be able to engineer your living conditions so that you have no choice but to turn to baby mamaism as a culture and toxic hoism as a culture. All right? Let's read on. Give me verse 4. No, finish it out. Finish it out for me because I want to stress on that point.
And thou shalt come down very low.
So when you're in a very low position, you don't really have much of a choice, Captain, but to just live out what they've engineered for you, or do you? Now, even in the corporate world, right? You might say, now I'm in the corporate world and I'm moving up the ladder. I went to university. I was in a sorority. Listen, in those sororities, you know what you got to do when you get hazed? Anybody know about hazing? Anybody know about the hazing that goes on in frats and sororities? Does anyone know what goes on in the corporate world to get to the top as a woman? Now, it's much different for a woman than it is for a man. The men have some leverage based on who you know and what fraternity you came from. If you graduated Gamma Sig Phi or whatever, you might have some nose in the nose and you might know somebody that knows somebody. You might get that job. But if you're a woman coming in with that same university degree and she goes into that corporate world and she wants to go up the ladder, she got to go up more things than other than ladders. Okay? She got to jump through more than hoops to get to the same level. Now, you might say, no, it's not. It happens, just that you don't hear about it. You don't hear about it because a lot of women, a lot of black women, they want to give the impression that I made it fair and square to the top of the corporate chain all by myself. Listen, even in the music industry, they would tell you, right? Look at all of those interviews. They would tell you a lot of those music producers told the women, listen, in order to get on, what you got to do, you got to put out. So the playing field is not even. And so a lot of in the black community, those men who got record companies, record producers, they perpetuate the same stigmas that have been pushed onto us by those who are above us very high. They said to the women, listen, you want this record deal? No problem. Listen, I'm going to put this out, but understand this beat costs $250,000. But for you, I'm going to give it to you for the free. You can lay this track tonight, but this track ain't the only thing tonight that got to get laid. You understand that? And now she's faced with a decision, whether she wants to get on and go mainstream, lay with this producer, get this track on. He got all the connections. He's going to get this thing out tomorrow. It's going to be buzzing on the airwaves. Are you going to compromise and give up your purity because you want to get on in the entertainment industry? This is what our women are faced with. And what I just spoke of just now is something that really happened. There's a singer by the name of Ashanti. If you go on her interview, she would tell you there's a record producer, he passed away. He posed that to her that he wanted him and her to just take a shower together. Just take a shower. Just take a shower. You could get the record tonight, but I want us to just take a shower. So he was perpetuating the exploitation of our women when this thing goes all the way back to the plantation field. A lot of our men today, they perpetuate the same stigmas by the actions, all right, that they perpetrate today. Give me verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So you see that you're going to serve your enemies, right? Which the Lord shall send against thee. So now your enemy is going to be your provider. Your enemy is going to be the person. Now, who's supposed to be the provider of the women? Her what? Before her husband is supposed to be what? Her what? Her father. There you go. Her father. And so, if the father ain't there, then who becomes her provider? The slave master. But he just read it again from the top.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Okay, stop right there. When a woman on the plantation sees her husband, what does she see him as, Captain? Well, I mean, enemy in a sense, but if, read it again from the top. Watch this.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against
Which
thee.
the Lord shall send against you.
In hunger.
In hunger.
And in thirst.
So for food and for drink. Watch this. Come on.
And in nakedness.
In nakedness for clothing.
And in want of all things.
Want of all things. If you have to go to your slave master for want of all things, are you seeing your father as your provider? No, you're seeing the slave master as your provider. Are you seeing, for those women who got married on the plantation, how are you seeing your husband? How are you seeing your husband, sisters? If the slave master provides everything, and when we say everything, we mean everything. He provides everything. How do you see your husband? Worthless, as nothing. What do you see your slave master as? Everything. And that is why today a woman will quicker listen to her boss rather than what? Her husband. Her husband would tell her, listen, do X, Y, Z. She watch him like, who you think you talking to? But if her boss call her right now, could you X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z? Of course. Of course, boss. What time you want me to be there? At 5? I'll be there at 4. I will be there. She shows more reverence to who? To her boss. But systematically, that is how they've engineered our women to show more reverence to their slave master, to their boss. This thing is systematic. I want you to understand. So now, when the father isn't seen, now a woman, when she's a little girl, sees her father as what? Give me some synonyms. Give me some synonyms. What is a young girl? I have a young daughter. I could tell you. She sees you as being the superhero of the world. You are her superhero. But on the plantation, when you see your father, what we showed in the class last week, Captain, what happens to the men on the plantation? You see your father get demoralized and butt broken. What that does to a little girl, a little 5-year-old girl, see her father go through inhumane things that no man should ever go, that no young daughter should ever see her father go through. What does that do to a young girl? Sees her father as nothing, worthless. That perpetuates over time. And that's so heartbreaking that happened to our little girls. They saw their fathers as nothing because of what those who were up above us very high, and because we were down very low, we had no choice. I hope y'all seen this. And so, with the fathers not being in a young girl's mind mentally as her provider, as her everything, psychologically, that jacks her up. Jacks up a young girl. She grows up having what you call what? a father wound even before you could even know what a father wound is. And so our women have now genetically, DNA wise, have been passed on with this gene of that father wound ever since the plantation. Oh my goodness. She grows up thinking that her dad, even if he was in the home, there's still a father wound there. Because you know they say that post-traumatic slave syndrome is a real thing. It carries through generations. Absolutely. So even if your father did grow up in the home with you, you still have these daddy issues and these father wounds. It's still going to be there. And you should try to understand it like you have a young girl grow up in a household, mother and father. The father was right there, and she still got daddy issues. It's for two reasons. It's not just one direction. Because remember, last week we showed you what? The men have issues of their own that stem right back to slavery as well. So the men are dealing with things, the women are dealing with things. And so, yes, we have homes that are nuclear homes, father, mother, children. But inside the home is jacked up. Is all the way jacked up. But we're trying to show you what's going on. All right? And so let's jump down to verse. Finish it out. Finish out verse 48 for me, please.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Wow.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Seeing a yoke of iron on your daddy's neck, on your mother's neck, seeing very immoral things being done to them, that jacks you up mentally. You understand the mental psychosis that goes into a young boy or a young girl? Now, eventually, you just start thinking that's what? Normal. You see that, Cap? It's just normal now. That's why our behavior today, when we see toxic hoism, baby mama-ism in the black community, it's so normalized now that, we just expect our people to act that way. We just expect that sister to have 4 children for 4 different men, and it's just like, could have been worse. Could have been 10 children for 10 baby fathers. That ain't normal. It is not normal, and I do not want us to perpetuate the normalcy of that thing. Jump down to verse 68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So the trauma of going into slavery, going onto ships, that's how you got over here. That's how you got over to the Western world and into different parts of the world, going into slavery on slave ships, like it mentioned in verse 68, going into captivity again. Now, give me that. Give me what causes the father's wound.
You might have had a father who was highly critical of you, or someone who suffered from addiction. Maybe they had a mental health condition. Maybe they were super controlling and overprotective. Maybe they left.
She says maybe your father might have had a mental condition, or your mother. You understand that in the black community, we got so many mental conditions, so many parents growing children who have mental conditions, but there's no awareness about it. And it's a dysfunctional family dynamic with people who have mental conditions who look normal. People think having a mental condition means you're in the garbage, rummaging through the garbage. What can I find to eat? And you're walking up and down the place looking crazy. Mental conditions, there are some mental conditions that are very subtle. These are people that go to work. They wake up every morning. They live in good houses. They go to work every morning, and they just look like they're functioning, right? But they have mental trauma that has been passed on from generation to generation to generation. But the thing is, when you uncover these father wounds, we go all the way back to slavery to see where some of this stuff comes from, right? And we know in the black community, a lot of our homes are being raised by both mother and fathers who have deeply rooted or deeply seated psychological issues because of the inevitable of what was done to us. Right? So it's no if don't be like, I'm the exception to the rule. My family ain't had no mental they all do. You grew up in a black home? Yes, you did. You had mental conditions that you did not know about. You weren't aware of it. You didn't know all that mommy and daddy was dealing with. You might have known some, the ones that were visible to you, all the fighting and the shouting, and that's just on the surface. There's mental things going on that you have no idea about. So circle back a couple seconds. Listen to what the doctor says.
You might have had a father who was highly critical of you, or someone who suffered from addiction. Maybe they had a mental health condition. Maybe they were super controlling and overprotective. Maybe they left because your parents got divorced. That was part of my story. Maybe they abandoned you at birth, or you never knew them, or maybe they passed away early on in your life or in your childhood. And of course, abuse, verbal, mental, emotional, physical, sexual, psychological, all of that. Any of those experiences can create a father wound.
Any of those things can and will create a father wound. Now, we're dealing with all of these things that she listed out from slavery. So it's no doubt that why the majority of our women are jacked up today. Okay? And so there are some women who have done the work or began the work to self-heal. But the majority of our women have not begun to self-heal. They sweep it under the rug, or they ignore it, or they say, I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't have no problem, while continuing the problem. Right? Awareness is the first step. Give me Lamentations 5 and verse 2.
Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. Verse 3. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
Wow. Our mothers are as widows, right? So go back to verse 2 again. Start it again.
Verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
Turn to strangers, the other nations. Come on.
Our houses to aliens.
Our houses to aliens. Come on.
Verse 3. We are orphans and fatherless.
The fatherless. So we're dealing with a fatherless community. Understand that, Captain? And like I mentioned, even if the fathers were present, right? They weren't raising the family and the home and the children the way they should have. We could see that on last week's class. All right? With the what you call that? The mama's boys, right? And the the mama's boys is a very destructive syndrome we have, okay, in the black community. But we on the sisters today. Yes? Give me Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17.
Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Our eyes have yet failed for what? Our help. We've always been a people that's been looking for help, right? Because we've always been in what? Captivity. So, are you going to look for help from the same persons that put you in the position? Are you going to look for help from the same persons that put you in captivity. Are you going to look for help? Mind you, now this is the sleight of the hand here. When the slave master provided everything for you in want of all things, he wanted to prop himself up as being what? Your head, your provider, your God. I provide for you. In today's time, that goes into what? How the government gets the man out of the home, puts our community in a position where we have no choice but to be, toxic hoes, baby mamas, right? And so they create the conditions, and then now they come to be the savior. So now you get the government assistance when the man is not in the home, right? You get more assistance also based on, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you get a bunch of children, I know in some places, the more babies you get, the more assistance you get from the government. The more babies you get. So what do our broken women do? They get a bunch of children for a bunch of men because it means a bunch of money. Any woman doing that, she has lost all value of self. She has lost all morality of self. She has lost her identity and who she is. She's looking at these children as a meal ticket. And so some governments, they say, you know what? You have a bunch of babies. We're going to give you assistance and money and food. And our women jump up and say, yeah, we want that thing. Put that on top of the tax return that they get. Woo. That's why you see people be fighting over the tax return every year, right? Because he want to go buy rims with the tax return money. She want to go buy a Birkin with it. And it's just a perpetual cycle of baby mamaism and toxic hoism. All right? So read it again. It says, as for us, our eyes
as yet failed for our vain help.
Our vain help. So you thinking that the government comes to save you, to be your head, to provide for you, that is vain help. Because the things that they even provide you, they are toxic to your babies, to you. That's not nutritious food they're giving you. They're giving you GMO foods. They're pumping your babies full of poison. All that Similac you leave the hospital with that they give you to say you could have all of this boxes of Similac for your newborn. That thing having so many heavy metals. It's killing your baby. And you're thinking, oh, the government is my daddy. Right? I'm a strong black independent woman. I'm a strong. Right? Finish it out.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
You're watching for a nation. They can't save you. You know why they can't save you? What were they put there for? Were they put there to save you? They were put there to destroy you, but you fell for the okie doke. You fell for it. Because they say with black people, all you got to do is give them what? Give them music and food, music and food, music and food. Once you give them music and food, man, oh man, they will be loyal to you to the end, Captain. Music and food. That's why in the Caribbean, they do what? They capitalize off of that thing around elections time. You give the people them dance and food. Woo, woo. They're going to follow you to the end of the earth. They're going to rally behind you. They're going to campaign with you. But then at the end of the campaign, they're like, am I going to get a little something more? I said, man, get out of my face. I don't know you. You don't see them again for the next 4 years, right? And so, music and food, the other nations have learned. This is how you get the Israelites to do whatever you want them to do. And so we've been looking for a nation to just come and save us, help us, right? But the same nation that been giving you these things, like the soldier mentioned, you didn't realize that the Bible said they were put there for your what? destruction. So you fell for it. Give me Baruch 4 and 15.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 15. For he hath brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither reverenced an old man nor pitied child.
See that? So they don't care about your children. Stop thinking they care about your children. They don't care about your old ones or your young ones. Stop thinking that the government care about me. They care. They send me food stamps every month. They send me food and clothing for my daughter, my son, because my baby daddy, he don't do none of that. So the government, they're there for our well-being. No, you're falling for it. That's what they want you to think. Poisoning your children. And don't even get me started on the school system, right? Okay, so we're going to get into the impact of daddy issues. Okay, but we're going to take a short little break. All right, we're going to come back. So you don't want to miss that. All right, we're coming back, but we're going to take a short little 5-minute break. You could refresh yourselves. You could go to the bathroom. You could drink some water. You could eat, you could eat something, have a little snack, but we're going to be back in 5 minutes, Israel, all present. So make sure you come back for the impact of daddy issues. All praises. We are back. Hopefully you had enough time to refresh yourselves. Use the lavatory, get yourselves organized. All praises to the Most High. Yes, so now we're going into the impact of daddy issues. Now, on today's class, we're going into toxic hoes and baby mamas, the oppressors, the modern oppressors of our nation, of our people. All right? Give me that video real quick. The impact of daddy issues.
So if a woman doesn't have a good relationship with a strong, virtuous man in her life, ideally her father, maybe if her father passed on when she was small, grandfather or an uncle, then she's often going to have a fear of abandonment tied into things like borderline personality disorder. And they often act out in such a way that it ensures that awful things happen. One of the things that I strongly recommend guys do when vetting a woman for anything on a long-term basis, whether it's dating or to raise children together, is make sure you're dealing with a woman that has a good relationship with her dad.
So make sure you're dealing with a woman that has a good relationship with her dad. But the problem in the black community is most of our sisters, even if the father grew up in the home, didn't really have a great relationship with her father due to the fact that father wounds are a real thing. All right? And so give me the book of Isaiah 3 and 12.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
Women rule over them. So now children are now the oppressors. Women are now ruling. So now women got that toxic whole mentality. They got that baby mama-ism mentality. You understand? And so it is a very sad situation what's going on right now. All right. Jump up to verse 4.
Verse 4. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them.
Babes are going to rule over them. This is what's happening right now. In the black community, you got women who they're not raising children right because they got father wounds. And so these children are being brought up as monsters. Monsters in the Hood. They should have a movie called that. Monsters in the Hood. Right? Running rampant. But it says, I will give children to be their princes, and babes are going to rule over them. All right? Give me that other video. What happens when unresolved? Give me that. What happens?
If you're a woman who has unresolved resentment or trauma with your father, what is going to happen in their life unless they learn to either forgive or transform that energy into love and meaning?
She will create a story. That story will say something along the lines of, from this day forward, my heart has been broken, and I will never allow my heart to be broken by a man ever again for as long as I live. And so what I am going to do subconsciously and energetically is put a trap door around my heart, and I'm going to go and live life from my mind, and I will be my own protector, and I will be my own provider, and I will give myself what my dad was never able to give me. That's all great. But then what happens when you're looking for love? Well, the only way she'll access it is to reopen her heart, and the walls have to fall, because if not, she will attract a man and a life that will keep her constantly chasing, that will keep her constantly protecting, that will keep her constantly providing. The man will most likely be weak.
Most likely be weak. The thing is, when we were on the plantation, were we strong? Were we strong, men? What were we? Weak. Who was seen as the strong man on the plantation? And the provider. There you go. So what that does to a woman psychologically is that even our women today, they just by default will not see you as being that strong provider, that strong man who's there to protect them. It's just innate in their DNA right now. All right? And so give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 44. Understand that this is systematic. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 44.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Verse
Good.
40.
So understand this. Because, right, he's going to lend to us. How will your woman see you? Boy, you can't even do nothing for yourself. You got to rely on the slave master. You got to rely on the government. You got to rely on the bank. You got to rely on everyone else except yourself to be the person who can do this thing for yourself. You can't do it. And so, your woman sees you as what? Weak. But not only does she see you as weak, we just saw in that video where a woman now constantly thinks she has to provide for herself. She has to be. Now, that's the mentality they gave our women, that even though I'm helping you, you're really the one that's doing it yourself. He not helping you, so you're doing it yourself. I'm giving you a little assistance. Yes, the government gives you a little assistance, but sis, you're really a strong black woman. That's what they pump in your head. You're really a strong black woman. You don't need him. Move him out the way. You don't need him. You're a strong black independent woman. And so it goes back again to those daddy issues. Give me the book of Hosea 4 and verse 6. Hosea 4 and verse 6. So this thing is systematic, okay? It's not by a chance coincidence. Read.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
So because we lack the knowledge of what really happened to us, that's why we're destroyed today as a people. We don't understand the systematic roots of it. Read.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
The Lord put us in this position where we come down very low because we rejected his knowledge of the commandments. Now our women are not virtuous anymore. They're what? Toxic hoes and baby mamas. Read on.
That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Yeah, you forgot God's laws. You're not going to be royal in his eyesight anymore. Read on.
I will also forget thy children.
That's why our children are what? In a state of running rampant, running wild, not being grown up in the law because their parents have forsook God's laws. All right, give me Ezekiel 22. Sorry, Jeremiah 5. Jeremiah 5 and verse 7.
Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 7. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me and sworn by them that are no gods. When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses.
Wow, so our women have now gone into a state of what? Committing adultery, just like Israel committed adultery. Israel is that nation they love going after strange gods. Israel is that nation they love just serving other gods and committing whoredom with other gods. And listen, Israel have a running perpetual cycle where the Most High delivers them and they go right back into what? Captivity. So that happens, Israel, because of our adulterous ways. Now, when you look into, you take it on a more physical level, right? Because allegorically, yes, Israel as a nation, we committed adultery against the Lord by going to serve other gods. Take it on a physical level now, where our women, they're not dealing with their husbands. They don't even want a husband now. So it's the same spirit. I want everyone to understand it's the same spirit, that adulterous spirit that our women have today, just like the same spirit that Israel has. Israel loves going after other gods, and our women love being promiscuous. You understand that? Ezekiel 22 and verse 29. And all of this is because of what? Father wounds that stem all the way back to slavery, captivity.
Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression.
They have used what?
Oppression.
They've used oppression as a tool. Come on.
And exercised robbery.
They've exercised robbery. In other words, they've engineered a system, a societal system. Come on.
And have vexed the poor and needy.
They've vexed the poor and needy so that they don't have any choice but to be hoes and baby mamas. Come on.
Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully.
They have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. All right. So because of that engineering, that civil engineering, because of that societal engineering, we have now perpetuated a mentality that goes into our women just normalizing hoe behavior, baby mama behavior. Give me the 5 types of men they attract. The 5 types of men they attract.
I'm going to tell you 5 types of men you will most likely attract if you have a father wound and why. The truth is, your nervous system is drawn to what's familiar, not what's healthy. So, number 1, emotionally unavailable men. You grew up with emotional distance, unpredictability, or coldness from your father. Now, love feels like uncertainty. You are drawn to men who don't open up, don't communicate, and keep you guessing because that chaos feels familiar.
You understand what happens when generationally things are perpetuated. You attract the very thing that you are hurting from. I want you to pay close attention. A lot of our sisters, even though they might be married, even though they might be in what they consider to be okay relationships, they still attract a certain type of man. So just circle back like about 7 seconds for me.
So, number 1, emotionally unavailable men. You grew up with emotional distance, unpredictability, or coldness from your father. Now,
some women always wonder why I keep going after the same type of man, the same type of man, the same type of man. Because of that father wound that you had. Your father was emotionally unavailable. So that's the type of man that seems attractive to you. The one that you got to chase, the one that he doesn't really pay you no mind. He's emotionally unavailable. And that seems highly attractive to you till you realize that's toxic. You're in a toxic relationship. Play on.
love feels like uncertainty. You are drawn to men who don't open up, don't communicate, and keep you guessing because that chaos feels familiar. Number 2, men who need fixing. If your father was emotionally immature, addicted, absent, or irresponsible, you likely took on an adult role early, becoming the little parent. Now, love feels tied to caretaking. You attract men who are emotionally broken, unstable, or stuck. You try to heal them, hoping they will finally see you. Number 3, passive or weak men. If your father was aggressive or unsafe to be around, you may not trust masculine energy, you suppress your own femininity, and you attract passive men to feel safe. But
a lot of men don't realize also because of that, you're creating a father wound. You're overly aggressive with your daughters. They become scared of masculine energy and it makes them repel from masculine energy and it turns them into what? That's one, masculine women. But give me the L word. I know we on YouTube, but give me the L word. It turns a lot of women into what? Lesbians. Absolutely. Fathers don't realize, listen, you cannot, and I mentioned it last class, Captain, you cannot deal with a daughter the same way you deal with a son. You turn her into a lesbian because now she's afraid of masculine energy. You got to be able to balance your masculine energy because you're going to create a father wound that is so deep that you don't even realize that thing was a thing. Yes, it is a real thing. A lot of men, they cause their daughters to be lesbians, to, like the brother mentioned, to be a dyke, to be a bulldagger, to be, you know, a boy. You cause her to be a boy. She's trying to repel the very thing that once made her very scared. Everyone gets it. Play on.
But you end up leading in the relationship emotionally, maybe financially, and it leaves you drained. Number 4, controlling or dominant men. If your dad was critical or unavailable, you might equate dominance with love and approval. So you chase strong, assertive men, hoping to finally feel enough. And you tolerate emotional neglect, manipulation, control, stuck in the fantasy of earning love if you just try harder. Number 5, unavailable or married men. Deep down, you may believe love is painful or that you are never fully chosen. So
there are some women, they're only attracted to unavailable men or married men. Understand, it's psychological. It's a mental deficiency, right? And so what I'm trying to show you is there's a movie that just came out. Can someone remind me what it says? There she go again, always looking for another woman's husband. There's a new movie that just came out. Is it a Tyler Perry movie? What's it called? Polygamist? The Polygamist? I guess those in the comments, you probably know it better than I do. If it's called The Polygamist, you could check it. Right. She is literally addicted to other people's man. That's a thing. But when you had a dad that was unavailable or emotionally unavailable, you don't realize what that causes in your daughters to seek after things that are also unavailable. So brothers, you do way more damage than you realize in your daughters' lives by just being absent, or if you're there, you're just emotionally unavailable. Wow. Open. Every husband and every father is listening to that. Circle back just 5 seconds.
Control, stuck in the fantasy of earning love if you just try harder. Number 5, unavailable or married men. Deep down, you may believe love is painful or that you are never fully chosen, so you fall for men who aren't really available. You give everything while getting breadcrumbs in return, reinforcing your unworthiness wound. If you find this valuable, please share it, save it, comment, and follow for more real talk about subconscious.
Heavy stuff that the psychologist is bringing out there. Let's get Nehemiah 5 and verse 5. See, if you don't understand this science behind this thing, you will never be able to crack the root of the behavior that goes into the stereotypes that perpetuate our communities. Nehemiah 5 and 5.
Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse 5. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children, and lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants.
So yes, that painful thought of us still being in bondage, it does something to us even today. Read on.
And some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them.
So it's not in our power to redeem them, so we just go with the flow. And because we go with the flow, we're now a product of our environment. Read on.
For other men have our lands and vineyards.
Other men, other nations have our land, our houses, our vineyards. And in a lot of cases, they got you women too. They got you women, if not physically, they got them mentally. And so now your woman doesn't even want to be an Israelite woman. She wants to be a woman of another nation. And that's why she go and put that fool hair in her head. That's why she go and change her eye color and do all of these things to look like the other nations, because she sees no value in her nation, in the men of our nation, in the women of our nation, because the painful thought of our people being in captivity is just too much to bear. I would rather be someone else. I would rather look like someone else. I would rather perpetuate the same stereotypes that came from the plantation. I would rather normalize that. That's what's happening to our women today. Give me Proverbs 17 and verse 25.
Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 25. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bear him.
Oh, and a bitterness to her that bear him. But now put the shoe on the other foot. It's the same thing when it comes to daughters as well. When a daughter brings a shame to a family's name, it's equally the same. All right? And yes, daughters, you can bring a shame to your family in a way that, you know, believe it or not, sons can't or wouldn't. I know it seems unfair. It seems unequal. Any sisters out there got brothers? You got brothers. When your brother messed up, did he get crunched as hard as you did? Was the expectation on you as a female more than your brother? Absolutely. Because when it comes to the sisters, them bringing shame upon the family is regarded much more than if a brother brought shame to his family. You understand that? Give me Proverbs 22 and 15.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
The rod of correction shall drive him far from it. Our women are supposed to be correcting the behavior, correcting that syndrome and that stigma of baby mamaism and toxic whole behavior from young, from time they are young daughters. You're supposed to teach your daughter how to dress according to the scriptures. Teach your daughters they're not supposed to act in a lewd manner, in a very immoral manner. But now our women today are actually championing that behavior and saying, or turning a blind eye to it and saying, oh, that's okay, that's fine. Championing that behavior. Train them up from a young child so that they do not perpetuate that thing, because our daughters, one of the first women they're going to learn from is who? Their mother. Give me Proverbs chapter 20. What was that? 22 and 15. Give me 22 and 6.
Verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So if you're supposed to train up a child in the way they should go, but it's not being taught, it's not being shown, it's not being displayed or illustrated by the mothers, the first thing that they're going to learn from their mothers, and I'm talking about daughters, is how to be a hoe and how to be a baby mama. Because you bringing all these different men into the house, right, that ain't the child's father, and you're going from man to man to man to man, right? More men than a gym locker. More men than on the basketball field or on the basketball court. All the child knew from it was growing up is mommy had a lot of men in the house. What you're actually training that child to do, that daughter, that young daughter that you so say you love, you're training her how to be a hoe. That's all you're doing. You're training her to be a whore in training, because she doesn't see her mother being with one man. She doesn't see her mother being in a righteous relationship. And if she is in a relationship, it's a crazy, toxic relationship. A man beating up the woman, busting her upside the head, boxing her in her neck, in her chest. Is that what you want your daughters to grow up seeing, brothers? Is that what you want your daughters to grow to know as that is normal? Is that what you want your daughters to grow up to also desire to have? I don't think so. So why not stop the cycle? Why not let the cycle stop with you, sisters, and take a stand and say, I will not raise my children to see that. If they see it, I will let it be a teaching moment that's not the way they ought to be. Don't perpetuate it. Okay? And so now you got mothers, you know, they daughters understand. Listen, mommy gonna have a new man in the house this Friday. Last one. And you know, some daughters, they go as far as, mommy, what happened to Jeremy? Oh, Jeremy, he gone. I got me a new friend. You got you a new friend? Yeah, he coming over this Friday. Make sure you go in your room. Now, guess what? They got mothers. And you see this on the news all the time where they arrest these mothers for child endangerment. Mothers who have sex in front of their babies when they invite their boyfriends over into the house. Pampers all over the floor. Capri Suns all over the floor. And the brothers today are so dishonorable. They say, yeah, ma, let me come over there. Let me slide through real quick. No, he's still up. My daughter, she's still up. Nah, it's okay, man. Let me just slide through real quick. Okay. You coming now? Yeah, I'm coming now. Just put her in the next room. Oh no, her brother's in the next room. All right, just put her in the crib. And the crib is right there. And he go and lay with her right in the very room where her little 1-year-old daughter, she just over there on the tablet. This has happened countless times. Look on the news. They're arresting these mothers for child endangerment, having sex right in front of their 2-year-old daughter. You might be saying, whoa, it's a real thing. I'm pretty sure they're in the comments saying, yes, that is a real thing. Absolutely. And so this is the type of mentality that gets perpetuated among the black community. But we must change it. All right? Give me Proverbs 22 again and verse 15. Give me that again.
Verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
So naturally, children will do foolish things, but it's your job as their parent to not perpetuate the same stereotypes that have gotten our people into this position, and not perpetuate the whole mentality, the baby mama mentality. They will want to do things that they see on TV. Your job is to tell them, no, sexy red is not something to desire. Ice Spice is not someone you should desire to be like. They will desire to do that. Oh, mommy, look, Ice Spice talking about whatever she talking about. And your job is to smack the taste out of her mouth when she say, I want to be like Ice Spice. I want to be like Sexy Red. I want to be like Lotto. I want to be like Young Miami. I want to be like, what's the other one? There's so many of them. Cardi B. I want to be like Cardi B. I want to be like Nicki Minaj. I want to be like Megan Thee Stallion. Your job is to smack that word Megan Thee Stallion out of her mouth and say no. Because the Bible says to bend down their head when they're young. But you have to have a balance. I didn't say go psychotic on them. Okay? Give me Sirach 22 in verse 5. Start from verse 4.
Sirach chapter 22 and verse 4. A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband, but she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness.
Her father's heaviness, if she liveth shamefully. We got a nation of shameless women who are living shamefully. But it says it's her father's heaviness. Guess what? That father wound, it really takes a toll on our sisters. It causes them to live in a certain type of way. And here's the thing, brothers. It must be fixed because these are the women you're going to marry or be married to. We must fix it. Because if we don't, we're going to continue down a path of toxic relationships, toxic marriages, toxic homes, broken homes. We must fix it. Give me that video, only 41%.
So only 41% of Black mothers are in the relationship living with the man that they are impregnated by when the baby comes, compared to 76% of all the races. Significant.
Only 41% of Black women that are with the fathers of their children? Captain, that's a problem. That is a problem. And so, again, I am not coming in a condemnation, accusatory angle. I'm looking at the systems behind what have caused this type of behavior in order for us to fix it. Play on.
Difference, right? So here it says Black women are more likely to have only one child or 4 or more children compared to all.
Give me Sirach 22 and 5.
Sirach chapter 22.
I heard something just connected back. We're back. All praises. So let's do a little quick test for me real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2. And thank you to those amazing people in the comments for always checking, always making sure the audio is good, always making sure we on point. All praises. It might have a little delay, so wherever you're checking it from, it might be a couple seconds before. We good now? We are good now. All praises. Oh, they didn't hear Sirach 22 in verse 5. So we're going to circle back. Thank you to our beautiful people in the comments who let us know they couldn't hear Sirach 22 and verse 5. Let's read it again.
Sirach chapter 22 and verse 5. She that is bold dishonoreth both her father and her husband.
So she bold. She got no shame. She a shameless woman. A woman like that dishonors both her father and her husband. Brothers, like I mentioned in the clip before, only 41% of women actually stay with their children's fathers. That means you're going to end up with a woman that got one of these two syndromes: baby mama syndrome, or that father's wound, or that toxic hoe mentality. You understand that? It's your job to wash her with the water of the word. All right? So that she does not become or continue this statistic. Good. So it says both her father and her husband are going to what? Despise her. Good. Give me Sirach 42 and verse 9. Sirach 42 and verse 9.
Sirach chapter 42 and verse 9.
Come on.
The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth.
When no man knoweth, he's watching for his daughter. He's making sure she's not supposed to be hanging around certain types of individuals, certain types of... Listen, fathers, you got daughters of a certain age, make sure you are checking on them continuously, knowing who they're around, knowing what type of music they listen to, knowing the type of activities they're engaged in. Read on.
And the care for her taketh away sleep.
Because you're going to be up all night trying to ensure that your daughter isn't out there on a stripper pole, out there being a hoe, out there being somebody's secret baby mama. Read on.
When she is young, lest she pass away, the flower of her age.
He says do it when she's old.
When she's young.
When she's young, you got to make sure you have a diligent inquisition over your daughter. Come on.
And being married, lest she should be hated.
Lest she should be hated, because she, listen, when she gets married and she already end up with these stereotypical ways that you should have been looking for ever since she was young, it's going to be very difficult for her to curb that behavior when she's grown. Do it when she's young. Good. Give me verse 10.
Verse 10. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house.
Oh, wow. Gotten with child in her father's house. That thing is a shame in Israel. Now, our men today would get their women pregnant inside of their father's house. Our men today don't care if she's still in her father's house. Our men today don't see anything wrong with her still living at home, but yet she breed. Right? That's how they say here, right? She breed. And now the mothers, they okay with it. Oh yeah, my daughter breed. My daughter breed and she live with me still. As a matter of fact, they're proud of that thing. She live with me, she home with her mother, and she breed. I love off my grandchild, see? And They're proud of that thing. But brothers, understand how much of a shameful thing that is. For you to go and impregnate a woman in her father's home, you didn't honorably take her according to the law. You did not take her out of her father's home like the Bible said it's a law. You got brothers coming into the truth talking about, I know what scripture that is. That's a law. That's a law. General, I got to do that. That's a law. Yes, that's a law. You must take her out of her father's home. But now, the sisters now, Cap, are now so indoctrinated with this new ageism that it's okay for you to impregnate them. Listen, 9 times out of 10, you go find a young woman between the ages of 25 and 30. She living at home. You go and say, I want to be your boyfriend. She says, no problem, okay. I like you too. You get her pregnant. She living in her mother's home, in her father's home, right? There's no urgency to, oh, sis, you pregnant? No, we gotta get our thing straightened out. We gotta get this thing right. We gotta go make sure we married, make sure we living. I gotta take you out of your mother's home, your father's home. We gotta do this thing right. It's always, well, I'm pregnant. All right, I guess I'll just bring over some Pampers for the baby. I'll leave them on your mother's doorstep. I'll leave them on your daddy's doorstep. That is a shame in Israel. That's what this verse is going into. It's a shame to do that. And now mothers today, they live with their daughters. Their daughters live at home with them. And you got the boyfriends that come over to the mother's home talking about, hey, Patsy. Hey, how you doing? He hailing up Patsy, which is the mother, going straight to the bedroom. Right? The daughter and the baby in there together. He come over. Yeah, come to drop off the Pampers and some food and gone again. Baby mama-ism. Israel, you realize how much... Now, everybody knows somebody that I just mentioned that. Everybody knows somebody that's living in that situation right now. Whether it's your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, somebody, your friend, somebody that you know from school. You know they live in home and they got a baby in their mama or their daddy's house. You know it. You know them. I know them. But no one says anything about it, Captain. No one. Why? Because it's expected to be normal amongst our culture. But I got a joke for you. White people don't really perpetuate that, Woo. They say, you got to get on out there and make a living for yourself, boy. Can't stay home with me and your mama. The black youth wants to be coddled by their parents for so long. You're not supposed to do that. Not because it's common means it's right. Again, not because it's common means it's right. And if we're living according to the Bible, we must do what the Bible says. It's a dishonorable thing to go and impregnate a woman you didn't even marry, right? And now she's in her father's home, and now you continue in the father wound. That you're creating a whole different... You know what you're doing for your offspring? You know what you're teaching your children when they realize, who house this? Well, this is your grandmother's house. Really? And then they grow up thinking, Daddy did it, I'm going to do it. Mommy did it, I'm going to do it too. You don't realize what you perpetuate, all right? So read it again, verse 10. In her virginity.
In her virginity, lest she should be defiled, and gotten with child in her father's house, and having an husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren.
It says, lest she should be barren, meaning it's the same type of shame that a barren woman would have in Israel, because it was a very shameful thing when a woman couldn't have children. It was a very shameful thing. It's the same type of shame that a woman who could not get children would have getting pregnant in her father's house. And that's why for a lot of our mothers, Captain, they know their daughter not supposed to bring no baby in here. You would hear it, right? Don't bring no baby in here. Don't bring no baby in here. And what they go do? Bring a baby in here. The mothers be knowing because internally they know, even though they did that. Now, here's the reason why they said, I don't want you to bring no baby in here. She says, because when I was your age, they ain't going to say this part. When I was your age, I brought a baby in my mother's house. They would just say this. Don't bring no baby in here because I want better for you than what was for me. They wouldn't say, well, I brought a child in my dad's house. I brought a child in my mother's house. Because what would then that empower the child to do if they say that part? What would that empower the child to do? To say, well, mommy, you did it too. You're being a hypocrite. You brought a child in your daddy's house, in your mama's house. Why can't I do it too? So mothers would just say, the black mothers would say, don't bring no baby in here because I want better for you than I had for myself. But the women know innately it is wrong. That's why they would say, don't bring no baby in here. Good. Give me Lamentations. No, sorry. Drop that. Give me Ezekiel 16 and verse 44. Ezekiel 16 and verse 44.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 44. Behold, everyone that useth proverb shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
So is her daughter. It is inevitable. Mothers, you are the first women that your daughters will ever learn from. Understand that. However you live your life says to your daughter, this is okay. And it also says to your sons as well. But we're talking about the daughters today. So as is the mother, so is the daughter. So a lot of times when that woman is that way, 9 out of 10 times, she got it from her mama. You know the song? Where she get that from? Her mama? Yeah, she get it from her mama. Yeah, she get it from her mama. Her mentality, the way she thinks, the way she processes things, the way she reacts to things, the way she logicizes things. Everything. She is her mother. Let's put it that way. A younger version of her mother, who will oftentimes be more intense than her mother. She's like the multiplication of her mother. So if her mother was this way, she's all the way this way. She took it beyond. There you go, Captain. She took it to another level. All right? And so give me baby mama culture is a problem. Give me that. Baby mama culture is a problem.
I was forced to take in college a feminism 101 class, which they called Women's Studies 101. Teacher would say, you know, this problem, why did this happen? And the answer was always because of men. She wanted to train us to believe that everything that ever happened to us was because of men. Well, what is she doing with that? She's making it so that we're wearing rose-colored glasses, and no matter what, we think men are horrible human beings, right? And that's an attack on the family, because you can't have a functional relationship if you look up and every time you see a man, you see a problem, right? At the same time, you have policies, I call it, you know, baby mama culture, that are saying to women that you can do it by yourself, you can do it all by yourself, being a single mom, and listen, you can, right? But you shouldn't have to. So you routinely see this attack on the family. That's an attack on the family, because you can't have a functional relationship if you look up and every time you see a man, you see a problem, right? At the same time, you have policies, I call it, you know, baby mama culture, that are saying to women that you can do it by yourself, you can do it all by yourself, being a single mom, and listen, you can, right? But you shouldn't have to. So you routinely see this attack on the family, and what's behind that, in my opinion, is government. Because in order for a government to grow, that government needs to make.
So although while you can do certain things by yourself, you shouldn't have to. And so, yeah, we know it's low on our end, but it's low at home as well. It's low at home. So you may have to put a filter on that, increase the volume, and let's see if we could play it again for those at home. But what she said is there are policies in place that perpetuate the stigmaism of baby mama culture within the black community, for the very mere fact that there are policies put in place that help you to continue being a baby mama, that makes being a baby mama desirable. You understand? And so that is a culture. It's called the baby mama culture. It is a very real thing. Okay? And so circle back just about 10 seconds.
Have policies, I call it, baby mama culture that are saying to women that you can do it by yourself. You can do it all by yourself. Being a single mom, and listen, you can, right? But you shouldn't have to. So you routinely see this attack on the family, and what's behind that, in my opinion, is government. Because in order for a government to grow, that government needs to make sure you believe that every problem that you have, they have an answer for, not your mom and dad at home.
So they create the problem and create the solution. But it's a culture that was engineered for you. But if you don't have the knowledge, you will not understand the intricacies behind the machine. Okay? And so it says, my people suffer for what? Lack of what? Lack of knowledge. We're giving you that knowledge. Good. So, as is the mother, so is the daughter. Give me verse 45.
Verse 45. Thou art thy mother's daughter.
You are your mother's daughter. You are like a reflection of her. Understand that? And brothers, understand this. If you want to know what a woman is going to be like, look at her mama. Okay, good. Read on.
That loatheth her husband and her children, and thou art the sister of thy sisters, which loathe their husbands and their children. Your mother was an Hittite, and your father an Amorite.
Your mother were like strangers, or acting like strangers. Why? Because any woman with any sense of decency, morality, wouldn't treat their children the way black women treat their children. They wouldn't feed the things that they feed to their children. Allow the government to demoralize their fathers. Like, you would hear a woman saying, yo, daddy ain't. Shh. Now, in a lot of cases, he wasn't, because of the system that engineered for him to not have any options to be anything. So, of course, they're going to perpetuate, oh, your daddy wasn't. Shh. And so, now we're dealing with the repercussions of this thing. All right? Give me black women raised.
So I will say that it's a problem with both men and women.
Yes.
I don't think in general we're being raised to be marriage minded, because a lot of people aren't getting married anymore like they used to.
Yes.
So someone posted something on my YouTube channel, and they were like, black women are raised to be mothers or single mothers, but not raised to be wives.
I've seen something like that.
Yeah, so it's like those qualities, yes, those are things that a man can appreciate, but how do you operate in a partnership? How do you function as a unit? When you start thinking about those qualities, I think that's where we struggle a little bit.
Yep.
And it sucks, because I think we're getting, again, the short end of the stick. We were raised in environments where we have to have a tougher exterior.
Yes.
From a young age, you have to like grow up really quick. And so I think we just have to unlearn a lot of those things. And that's conflicting with us trying to be in a relationship.
Oh, so in toxic whole culture, baby mama culture, women are not raised to be wives. They're raised to be baby mamas. Now, isn't it very ironic? You would see a black woman with her child, right? And automatically you think she's a what? A single mother. You don't even ask, hey sis, how is your husband? How is it? You just assume she not married. You just assume there's no father in the home. You just see her walking down the road with a child, and the father is not in the picture. Shoot, that happened to me. That happened to me. That happened to the general. My wife and the children, and they're like, oh, how you doing? Long time no see. And da 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 da. You have 2 children. Okay, the children looking okay, good. Not once did they ask, wait, you married? Wait, where their father at? Wait, where they? It's just it's left up to assumption that this person in the black community, and we look at each other that way. Let's be real. We've now perpetuated amongst ourselves. You see a woman with a child, you automatically think either the dad ain't there or he just very absentee. He not really there. He there, but he not really there. Okay, so finish out the last part of verse 45 again for me.
Your mother was an Hittite and your father an Amorite.
Good. Like strangers, as if we didn't know the law. We didn't know how to raise up our children. As if we didn't know how to actually, bring up our children with a sense of decency and decorum. You understand? And so that's a very shameful thing. All right. We got a lot of baby daddy, syndrome. We got baby mama syndrome. We got toxic hoe syndrome. All right. And so give me the book of Sirach 41 and verse 5.
Sirach chapter 31 and verse
41. 41 and verse 5, and we'll read down to 6.
Sirach chapter 41 and verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly.
Good. So it says, the children of sinners are abominable children. Right? So now it's perpetuated. It's carried on generation to generation. As is the mother, so is the daughter. Good. And it says, they who are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. Come on, read on.
Verse 6. The inheritance of sinners, children shall perish.
Children shall perish both physically and spiritually. Read on.
And their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach.
Oh, you're going to be known for just having monsters for children, and children who don't grow up to be anything. Children that don't see the light of day. Children that go to prison. Children that, they perpetuate the same stereotypes. All of these things go back to the father wound. All of these things go back to the whole culture in our society, the baby mama culture in our society. It does nothing but destroys our communities right down to the children. Again, right down to the children. And the funny thing about, well, not the funny thing, the sad thing, Captain, about a lot of this culture that we perpetuate in the black communities, a lot of times the parents know they bugged out and they're not really mentally there. Who does it end up hurting? Who does it end up hurting? The children. The children are the ones who suffer the most. Okay? That's what that verse is talking about. The children are the ones who suffer the most. Okay, so we're going to take another 5-minute break. We're going to be right back. All right, so you can refresh yourselves, go to the bathroom, do what you need to do, drink some water, drink some juice, eat some fruit. We're going to be back for the final, half of the class. You don't want to miss it. All right, we're going into that adulterous spirit and how we could fix that thing. All right? All praises. And welcome back. All praises to the Sabbath class. Just back from a little short 5-minute break. All praises. We're going to now go into that behavior, that shameless, harlot, fornicative, adulterous spirit, all right, that perpetuates the black communities, all right. Give me black women stay single.
I hate being like this, but the only people that be calling me a pick-me is black women. I'm not gonna lie. And when I look at the lives of like my white friends, my Mexican friends, my Indian friends, none of them act like black women. Black women have to do better. Being obedient and submissive to your man is not being called a pick-me. And then it's like I go to y'all pages and I feel instantly just sad. I feel sad for y'all because most of the time when I go to your page, you're single, you have a couple of friends, y'all going out, stuff like that, right? Look at your kids more mixed and matched up more in the Goodwill sock bin. You know what I mean? Kids just all different colors and variations. And it just makes me think, maybe because, you know, no one was there to show y'all and teach y'all, don't just be out here.
Yeah. It was learned all the way back on the plantation. Fathers were removed for a very long time. So, yeah, mothers also grew up in a toxic environment, not teaching them the ways of the Bible. So, yeah, but she's saying also, like, mostly you hear a pick-me. For those of you that don't know what a pick-me is, other black women that say, oh, you're just being a pick-me for men, what men want, because you're trying to pander to men. But really and truly, the Bible says a woman is supposed to have the mind of her husband. But she says the only person she hear it from being a pick-me is other black women who has been indoctrinated with this strong black independent woman, you know, type of mentality. Play on.
Reproducing children with multiple men and losing your value like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to not have a kid with every man that you sleep with, you know? And it's just, you know, like, I think that it comes from a lot of hurt with black women. I really do, because it's like at first I was like, why the are they so mad?
And that is something so common where there's women, literally, Captain, that every time they sleep with a man, they want to go and get a child for this man. She gets a child every person that she lay with. She get a child with this person. And it's very common within the Israelite community to the point where it's just normalized. Oh, she got a new man now, we'll expect a new child. She with a new man, this, expect a new child. And no one is seeing what's wrong with this. Now, for you brothers who go and pick up women that got children with other men, understand this. You're already picking up a situation that has not been healed. A situation where this woman has not come into doing the internal work that she needs to do on herself. So what you're picking up is not only just baggage and issues, you're picking up all of the forerunners before you, their problems and their issues, and you now going to put yourself in a position where you're going to go and impregnate her. She got 6 children with 6 different men, or 6 children for 3 different men. It's still the same thing. Our women were never engineered to do that. Our women were engineered to have one husband, one child father. You understand that? That's how the Most High engineered our women. But now, we got that mentality now where it's okay if she has 4 children for different children fathers. Because you know how you know that's normal in our community? You would hear, even if you go to the clinic, if a woman goes to the clinic and she's asked the question, how many children you have? She says, 4. What the nurse asking next? Was that? No, not the names. Before the names, what the nurse asking next? How many fathers? Oh, they would just say, all of them by the same dad? Oh, they would just shorten it. By the same dad? By the same. Because they deal with these cases every single day where these women come into the clinic, STDs, come into the clinic children suffering from this, suffering from that. Are they predisposed to this or predisposed to that? Well, how come this one got this genetic issue and this one don't? Oh, this one have a different father. Oh, so he anemic. Oh, he got sickle cell anemia. Oh, well, that thing comes down hereditarily. So this one have a different father? Yes. And it's so populated in the black community that when you go to the doctor, they're asking you, and I know it feels shameful for the doctor. It feels like racism, right? You go to America and the doctor is asking the inner city women, all of your children have the same father? And you have to stay there and be like, well, no, they don't. Because it's common in our community. Play on.
Like, what is going on? And then I go and look at their life, and they've let their single friends keep them single. And that's what it is. Black women let their friends keep them single. Other races be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh my God, you're in love. You're this, and this. And they're very welcoming of that person's partner. You know what I mean? Black women be like, oh, where he work at? What he do this? What kind of money he got? Girl, make him buy you something. Like, you know what I mean? It's all about the materialistic things. And it's just, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I gotta stop arguing with you online, because when I go to look at y'all page, 99% of the time, it's just sad.
Let me tell y'all, the families I try to stay away from is the one where nobody got a man. You telling me you got 3 sisters, none of them got a man. Your mama ain't got a man. None of your aunties got a man. Your grandma don't got a man. Your great grandma don't got a man. Godmother don't got a man. And we gonna add the best friend to the situation, and your best friend don't got a man.
Some men don't read the room at all. You realize none of her sisters married. You realize, there's issues coming straight down from the mother. The mother acts a certain way. You feel you're going to be the lucky one out? Well, I got the jewel of the family. I got the jewel. I got the crown jewel. No, she's going to start acting like her mother if she don't start doing the internal work. And you know what I love about this Bible? This Bible comes to allow all of us to do the internal work, to do what needs to be done, to examine ourselves and to change the behaviors that perpetuate our community. All right? But a lot of men don't read the room. They don't realize, like, listen, none of her female family members are married, or a bunch of them have a bunch of different children for different men. Could it be that's a generational curse? I don't know. I might be slow here. Could it be it's a generational curse and you're overlooking that? Play on.
Nobody got a man. Nah, it's something there. It's some type of spirit, some negative energy. It's something around that family that is just keeping men away, and I would not be a part of it. It may be a generational curse, and she may be the one to break it, right? That's good for her. I hope she does. I just will not be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just some situations where it's like, I'm not going to make my life difficult. Plus, it's like, what advice could they get from everyone about y'all's relationship? Every single thing you do, they're just going to tell her she don't need a man. They're going to tell her that they all don't have men in their lives and they're fine. And they could be fine. But it's just like, is that the advice I want my girl hearing? No. I can only imagine the mental and emotional trauma that a dude would go through trying to be involved in that family.
This is the absolute truth. And for you ladies that are watching, and for you guys that are dating, especially you ladies who are watching, I mean, we get it that most women don't want to be married these days. We get it. You just want to have either a dude to pay your bills or you just want to have a baby, which is a rite of passage for many black women. You know what I mean? But this is sad, bro. When he talks about like everybody, all the matriarchs in the family, there's no men around in the black community, which is sad, which is, we keep saying the condition of people will not rise any further than the woman. But like, bro, like if this is the condition of the black family dynamic, the black family unit, then black folks in America here are cooked, man.
Cooked. And the reason why we cooked is because it is systematic. Last week we covered the brothers, but this week we're covering the sisters. It is systematic. Sirach 26 and verse 22. Sirach 26 verse 22.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 22. An harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband.
Good. So a whore will be counted as spittle, as nothing. Our women have to stop perpetuating that whorish mentality, that whorish actions in our community. Stop thinking it's okay to have a bunch of children by a bunch of different men. Let's call it like it is. That is being a hoe. It is what it is. We're saying you got to stop. We're not condemning. We're saying you have to stop. Good. Give me verse 23.
A wicked woman is given as portion to a wicked man.
Good. So a wicked woman is given as a reward to a wicked man. So if you're a wicked man, you're going to end up with a wicked woman. That is facts. I've seen it. I've observed it. A lot of men be talking about, oh, she wicked. Yeah, because the brother wicked. Right? Play on. Read on.
But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord.
A godly woman, a righteous woman, a virtuous woman is given to one who fears the Lord, keeps the commandments, and puts the commandments above everything. That's who a virtuous, righteous woman will be given to. All right? So, brothers, when you less than honorable, you create daughters who become whores. Brothers, when you're less than honorable and you get with a woman, you get with a wife, remember, she has things she's dealing with from the plantation. And so you help to perpetuate that thing. You don't help to heal that thing. Brothers, it goes back to us. We must fix us in order if we're going to help them heal. Okay? So yes, the sisters are accountable. But again, the Most High gave the men the leadership. Give me that video, Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything Dr. Umar brings out, but he's right on a lot of things. Okay? Bring that out.
Black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
Men, you got to understand, we help to create that personality. Yes, it originated on the plantation field, but you now help to perpetuate that mentality by being less than honorable men. So yes, sisters to blame. And, you know, even though a lot of brothers like to say, well, women don't like accountability. Well, guess what? Guess who don't like accountability more than women? The men ain't want to answer that one. Yes, women, they run from accountability at times. But who loves running away from it more is the men. Because you know what? The men would deny that they had a hand in helping the women to become this way. So circle back just a few seconds. Listen closely.
And it has been that way for about 50 years. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that. And then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course you're going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not.
Less than honorable men are going to become the propagators of H.O.E.S and baby mamas. So even though we got H.O.E.S and baby mama, that culture, the men have to realize, wait, we got to now start raising men to a different standard, which comes from the Bible, so that the women have no choice but to what? Change. So brothers, you got to understand, this thing really goes back to us and the father wounds that you created and helping to perpetuate. Good. Give me Sirach 9 and 8. Sirach 9 and verse 8.
Sirach chapter 9 and verse 8. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire.
Love is kindled as a fire, but it's going to burn you because you're looking at her for the wrong reason. She's perpetuating a stigma in the black community, which is men like to see women with what? Less than nothing on. Scandalous, looking very scantily clad. That's why they dress like that, because they're trying to get the eyes of these men to, if you dress sexy, you're going to attract what? Men who want what? Sex. The word sexy has in the word sex. If you're dressing in a sexy manner, you're going to attract sex. And so you're going to attract men that just want to hit it and what? Quit it. You're going to attract men that just talking a nice game. Hey, baby, I want to be with you. I want to marry you. And I want to do all the nice things with you. But he's just playing the long game. He's just trying to get. But now, that's why the Bible comes to say what? Prove a friend. You're going to be able to know. So, brothers, that's why you got to know. Stop the cycle with you. Help to heal your wife if you have a wife. If you have a daughter, help to heal that father's wound. You can't do it by yourself now, brothers. Sisters, you got internal work that you need to do. It says, with all thy getting, get understanding. We're giving you the understanding so you could know what is behind the systematic approach of why our people are this way. So, brothers, it says, don't lust after her beauty. Because women are going to dress like that. You mean till now, in 2026, you don't realize that's all a ploy, that's all a plot to get you to go and stick your little thing, and then no, you got her pregnant. You're not married to her. She's still in her mother's house, still in her father's house. But what caught your eye? What caught your eye, Brother Daniel? What's that? Her body. Okay. What to the other brothers? What caught your eye? The beauty or how she dressed, playing up on her features. Give me Sirach 25 and verse 17.
Sirach chapter 25 and verse 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face.
Oh, the wickedness of a woman changes her face. Come on.
And darkeneth her countenance.
So you'll always be able to spot a whore, right? A wicked woman from afar, because her face does not have the face of righteousness. You'll be able to see if you are in the spirit. Now, if you're a worldly man, you're not going to see it, because you just as wicked as she is. You just as much in the world as she is. And every worldly woman will catch you. Why? Because you in the world just as much as her. But wickedness, you can see it printed all over a woman's face. All right, so read it again.
The wickedness of a woman changeth her face.
It changes her face, come on.
And darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth.
Her countenance is darkened. You can see the darkness in her face, come on. Give me verse 19.
Verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman.
No, some wickedness.
All wickedness.
All wickedness. All of the wickedness you can add up in the world, Captain, is less wicked than the wickedness of a what? A woman. So read it again from the top.
All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman.
That's tough right there. That's a tough verse to swallow. That all the wickedness in the world cannot amount to the wickedness of a woman. Like, a woman would be so wicked. She would go and have sex next to her 2-year-old daughter by some mother's son coming to dig her out. And guess what? She living in her mother's house. Watch this. She living in her mother's house. She got a daughter in her mother's house. Some mother's son who she don't even know him that well coming in the house talking about, let me slide through real quick, and she having sex in front of her 2-year-old baby, right? While her baby on the tablet, while she having sex in front of the child in her mother's house. That is wicked. Now, you take that to another level. She now have her own place. She got a different man coming in that place every week. A different man digging her out every week. Right? This is the type of stereotypical things that women say they don't like, but they do it. Okay? Give me verse 22.
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
Good. So if a woman is maintaining her husband, she's full of anger and much reproach. Men, again, this goes into that father wound. Going back to the plantation, who we had to see as being our providers? The slave master. Women, today, you still don't see your husbands as being the providers. So that father's wound make you go and do what? A woman will quicker, listen, her boss will tell her, listen, you want that promotion? You can get it. You can get it. And why she can get it is because she figures the boss can give her a better promotion than her husband ever could. So she will do it. Like if you ask, listen, I saw this interview where they were interviewing these women, professional women. I'm not talking about street level women, professional women on the street. And they asked the question, would you, if given the opportunity where no one could find out, you're working at your company to become assistant manager, would you sleep with the boss? These are corporate women. They said, now, 50 women were interviewed. Out of the 50 women interviewed, 40 of them said, if no one could find out, I will. What? 40 out of 50 women said, if no one could find out, I would do it. And here's why they said they would do it. It wasn't because she said, I love being a whore. I mean, it sounded kind of noble, right? When I was watching the interview, it sounded kind of noble, Cap. She said she would do it because it means propelling her family ahead, putting them in a better position. So women would willingly choose to do it, even if it, in their mind, it means providing for their family more, helping their family out more, helping their family to get further more, so that she could feel what about herself? Like I justified. I did the right thing. But the problem is, it's still wrong. You understand that? And because our women don't see the husbands as the providers. So it makes them go off and go lay with who they consider to be the provider. So read it again.
A woman, if she maintain her husband,
maintains her husband,
is full of anger.
So even when a woman is getting supplied by the government giving the EBT, the government giving the SNAP, she feels like I'm doing this on my own. Mind you, she getting help, from the government. She feels like I'm doing it on my own. She getting government assistance. I'm doing it on my own. And you just eating up all the food in here. Read on.
Verse 23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart.
Okay, you could drop that. All right, and you can give me verse 24.
Verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin.
Understand this. Through the woman came the beginning of sin. Came the beginning of sin. That's why there's no wickedness that could amount to the wickedness of a woman, because through her came sin. Read on.
And through her we all die.
Through her we all die. All right, so we got to understand the dynamics behind this thing so we can fix this thing. All right? Give me verse 9. Sorry, give me Sirach 26 and 9. Sirach 26 and 9.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks.
In her haughty looks. You could tell that a woman is a whore just based on how she dressed. Come on.
And eyelids.
And her eyelids. How she look, how her eyelids go, you can always tell. The Bible ain't never lied. All right? Give me verse 10.
If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
Through overmuch liberty. She'll be doing whatever she wants. If you let a woman do what she wants, she gonna take it to the 10th power. All right? Give me verse 11.
Verse 11. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee.
Don't marvel if she trespass against you, because guess what? Women, their wickedness is beyond what you can imagine. And the number two, when it comes to sisters who are shameless and women who are, perpetuating whorish mentalities, it's almost as if you give them an inch, they will take a whole football field. All right? Give me verse 12.
She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain.
Good. This is when you're giving a rebellious woman the liberty to do whatever she wants. She opened her mouth as a thirsty traveler. Come on.
And drink of every water near her.
Every water she wants. She want his water, his water, his water. She want all the water. She wants all the men's waters. That's why she pregnant so much. That's why she got so many. Read that part again for me. The Bible ain't never lied.
She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her.
She drinking of every water, Captain? She ain't leaving none back? Every water. This woman she's a problem in the community. Read on.
By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow.
Every arrow she's taking into her quiver. Every rod, every arrow, every water. She wants all of it, leaving nothing behind for no one else. This is the problem or one of the problems in the black community. This type of woman. Okay, that baby mama who can just continue having more babies and more babies and more babies. Listen, I was seeing this. Now, this was an honorable woman. She had 50 babies by the same man in not Burkina Faso. It is in Democratic Republic of Congo. Right. She has 50 children for the same man. That's honorable. But she has an issue where she has an overproductive reproductive syndrome. If she don't keep having children, she gonna die. That's the syndrome that she has. Right? And so she have it for the same husband, which is good. Okay? But our women in the westernized culture, every water from every arrow, from every rod from a different man, they desire that thing. Right? Because of the culture that we have. Give me Sirach 19:2.
Sirach chapter 19 and verse 2. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away.
It would make you bugged out, brothers, if you're going to just, drinks and women, you're going to get bugged out. A woman and her lack of morality would make you go down that road. Now you're outside the clinic on Monday asking for a shot in the booty because now you felt like your pee-pee burning you now. Yeah, wine and women will make you have to go through that. Whorish, adulterous lifestyles. Give me the book of Proverbs 5 and 3.
Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb.
Oh, a strange woman, a woman that ain't yours. That's what it's talking about, brothers. If any woman comes to you and says she's interested in you and she wants to be with you, and a lot of brothers don't even ask the question, Captain, do you have a man? He don't care about that. Do you have a baby father? Child father? He don't care about that. You just be like, oh, you like me? Well, I'm going to lay with you. Right? But adultery is something that destroys the black community. Give me Proverbs 6:32. Adultery is something that destroys our community heavily. Proverbs 6:32.
Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding.
What do you lack when you commit adultery?
Understanding.
Sisters, you lack understanding too. When you're going to sleep with a man that's not your man. You're going to lay with a man that's somebody else's man. You lack understanding. I heard one sister say, God is going to bless her and her man who is somebody else's man. God ain't blessing that. The Most High not blessing that. That is sin. And the Most High ain't gonna bless sin. You either do it right or don't do it at all. So if you commit adultery, you lack understanding. Give me the book of let's get Proverbs 11 and 22.
Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 22. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion.
So women who don't have any discretion, they have like a lot of daddy issues, a lot of father wounds. They would do anything if asked. A lot of times they're trying to just please a man because they figure that's the way to a man's heart, just by doing whatever, and they devalue themselves. All right, give me grieving the father you wish you had. Listen closer to the sisters.
Nobody talks about grieving the father you wish you had. There's a heartbreak that goes along with having a father who isn't there for you, who isn't connected, mature, or consistent.
Just give us 1 second. We're gonna increase the volume so you can hear at home a little more effectively. All right. We want everybody to hear this. We want everybody to understand what this psychologist, yes, she's Esau, but the Bible does say in the book of Obadiah, Esau has wise men. Correct? Esau has wise men. They've studied this thing because, they ain't got nothing else better to do, right? We got to deal with the brunt of reality. They could study stuff. So they have some information, and this is what this psychologist is saying.
Nobody talks about grieving the father you wish you had. There's a heartbreak that goes along with having a father who isn't there. Nobody talks about grieving the father you wish you had. There's a heartbreak that goes along with having a father who isn't there for you, who isn't connected, mature, or consistent in showing up in your life. As you get older, you realize you've grown up too soon, or you raised yourself, and your father wasn't there for you in the ways that you've needed. You get a deep sense of rage whenever you think about him or hear from him. And this can be worse, especially if he doesn't acknowledge the damage that he's caused. And underneath that rage is actually grief and sadness. Because having a father who's alive but can't actually be a father is one of the most painful things a person can experience. It can also make us pick partners who make us feel disposable or ignored because it's all we've ever known of love. You might have to have boundaries or even cut your father out of your life. And then have people in your family.
Growing up with these type of issues make you lack boundaries. It makes you lack boundaries. So just stay pause on that. Give me that verse again where it says, Proverbs 11 and 22, as a jewel.
As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion.
A fair woman who is without discretion. You know what a lack of discretion is? A lack of what? Boundaries. No, you understand that this goes back to when a woman lacks boundaries, she lacks discretion. It goes back to she's really grieving something that she don't even know she's grieving, even if the father was around. Play on.
Family saying things like, well, he's your father, without understanding that he didn't actually act like one.
Wow, even though he was around, he didn't actually act like one. He was there, but he didn't actually act like one. That leaves such a deep father wound within that woman that sometimes she don't even know she's dealing with a father wound. And sometimes I know a lot of sisters could familiarize with this. When they were growing up, they would just start crying and they don't know why they're crying. You would just start tearing up, going through these emotional roller coasters, not knowing why. You can't explain it. You just would start to feel sad out of nowhere. It's because what the clinical psychologist was saying is that it's likened unto grief. You know, when you're grieving something and you don't even know what you're grieving a great deep sense of loss for something you wish you had, that you were supposed to have, but you didn't have it. So the only way the mental faculties know how to purge that out is to just break down and cry, or to be someone who lacks boundaries. So you do things as a teenager growing up that you never should have done. You did some things that perpetuated some stereotypes that you should have never done. And so it goes into that father wound. You understand? A woman that is without discretion. Proverbs 23 and 27.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 27. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit.
Ooh, a narrow pit, a deep ditch. All of these things are going to lead you to destruction. You understand? And so when we talk about the deep ditch and perpetuating these stereotypes, you know, it's a very sad thing that a lot of women who are engaged with this type of behavior, they don't realize they need healing. And it's important to heal that source, right? Give me that video. Heal the source, healing that source.
One of the biggest points of healing for me about 10 years ago, when I really started spiritually awakening and doing all of this work, it was the forgiveness of my parents, particularly the masculine energy. My inner girl, my inner child was so angry because I felt like you never provided anything for me. You didn't protect me. You weren't really present. You're a very selfish person, right? My father just wasn't around. Just wasn't around. When you recognize that, keeping them on the hook and blaming them for your current circumstances as an adult blocks you from creating abundance in the present. You have to realize that, because if you keep blaming him, you sever your connection to source. So, you know, the most powerful thing that happened to me is I replaced my dad with source. And when I replaced my father in the physical with source, you know what I got? I got the supreme father.
And that father is Yahweh. You understand that? And if you're married, of course, your husband is supposed to wash you with the words of Yahweh. So ultimately it goes back to the father. All right? And so we got to be able to heal that thing. All right? So we understand that, yes, because of it, children grow up being monsters. Sisters perpetuate H.O.E.S mentality, baby mama mentality. All right. We said you got to correct your children so that they do not perpetuate that thing. All right. Give me the book of Isaiah. Sorry. Not Isaiah. I don't want that. Give me Galatians 6 and 7. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
God is not mocked.
For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
So the chickens have now come home to roost. So now we're reaping the effects of the behaviors that the black community has now perpetuated. And so now we are now reaping what was sown with these baby mamas, these toxic hoes, if we don't put a stop to it and actually find out how to heal that thing, it's going to continue. All right? And so, give me the book of Sirach 26:3.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 3. A good wife is a good portion.
So sisters got to come back to being what? Good wives, good mothers, good sisters. Read on.
Which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
That shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. Give me how to heal the father wound.
Here's a hack to healing your father wound. It's to give yourself.
Yes, so we're going to just get the volume up for you a bit. So again, we're going into how to heal the father wound. Again, everyone must understand that the father wound affects all of our sisters as Israelites. No one is exempt from it. All right, but we must know how to heal that thing in order to not perpetuate the same mentalities and actions and behaviors that plagues our communities.
An ick to masculine energy. Deep down, when we have a father wound, we are secretly attracted to men that cause us pain and that make us feel unworthy. What I'm about to teach you is a 2-step process to switch that entirely and only be available for men that make you feel wonderful and like a queen and make you feel safe in your feminine energy. Step number 1 is to cut out any form of unhealthy masculine energy that you are watching or that you are listening to. Always think about your eyes and your ears for this one. Any music where women are being degraded, any TV shows where men are cheating on women, or they're not king energy. They're in their unhealthy masculine energy. I need you to cut that out.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that thing because she mentioned stop engaging with content and or things or people that help to perpetuate the same mentalities. Cut it off. And like the scriptures say, if your right hand offends you, do what? Cut it off. And so, sisters, you're going to have to cut off maybe a lot of the things that you listen to that perpetuate and put down in a very indirect way the very thing you're trying to build up. You're watching podcasts that put down men, they put down women, they pit men against women, and you're watching this material and you don't realize what it's doing to you mentally. All right. As a matter of fact, a lot of the music right now is pushed by the small hats. And by the small hats, you know who I mean. They're the owners of the record labels that say to the women, listen, if you sing about debauchery, you sing about whorism, you will get that record deal. So, of course, you're going to see the Megan Thee Stallions, the Young Miamis, all the, the Lottos, the Ice Spices, singing about some very, immoral things, right? Things about whoredom, making it okay to be a whore. And so the thing about it is, right, Captain, a lot of them don't want their children growing up like that, even though they're singing about it. They don't want their children growing up. So we're going to drop this video. We're going to come back to this. Give me that video, Young Miami. Give me that. What's the name?
I'm really a whore. Like, I'm with a W. Like, I'm a whore.
But define that, though.
Like, I'm a whore.
What if Summer comes to you, as pretty as she is, and says, Mom, I want to be a city girl?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
So Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
No. I want her raised totally different. Like, I don't even want her to even see the light of day like that. Like, I really want her to just be like, like level-headed, a schoolgirl, and just on a whole nother ways. Like, I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, I'm a city girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my daughter. I'm really a whore. Like,
I'm a city girl. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I don't want my daughter perpetuating what I'm perpetuating. But she says, I'm a whore. She said, wait, what do you mean? Do you mean that in a... She said, no, I am a whore. I'm literally a whore. So like when we reading these scriptures for you and we're bringing out this material for you and we show you that this is whole mentality and whole culture, you got to understand where we're coming from. The women who perpetuate this material and this music, they consider themselves to be whores. But, however, I guess they have some moral decency about themselves because they don't want their daughters to also be whores, which is, it's a mental condition. It goes back to the plantation. All right? Is that it on that? There's more? That's it on that. Good. Now we're going to go back to the previous video. Good.
Here's a hack to healing your father wound. It's to give yourself an ick to unhealthy masculine energy. Deep down, when we have a father wound, we are secretly attracted to men that cause us pain and that make us feel unworthy. What I'm about to teach you is a 2-step process to switch that entirely and only be available for men that make you feel wonderful and like a queen and make you feel safe in your feminine energy. Step number 1 is to cut out any form of unhealthy masculine energy that you are watching or that you are listening to. Always think about your eyes and your ears for this one. Any music where women are being degraded, any TV shows where men are cheating on women, or they're not king energy. They're in their unhealthy masculine energy. I need you to cut that out, because what this is going to do, it's going to stop making it familiar for you to feel pain when it comes to men. It's going to make it feel so foreign to you to see men treating women poorly. You're going to start to change that wiring of your brain.
And it should feel strange seeing men treat women poorly, because the Bible mentions how men are supposed to treat women. Love, honor, to provide, protect, to love. You understand that? So we teach the men here the 6 pillars of what you are expected to do as a husband. All right? To love, teach, honor, provide, care, protect, provide. You understand that? And so seeing the opposite of that should, like she says, give you the ick or make you say, no, that's wrong. Play on.
Brain to not be available to receive this treatment. Step number 2, most important, you're going to add in a form of healthy masculine energy that is healthy and that is inspiring. So the best thing that I tell my clients to do is to find a podcast with a highly conscious masculine man that is teaching, that is talking about respecting his wife.
And the good thing about the truth is you're going to find the men that stand up for the Lord. When you tune into the material that we're putting out, we're the men that's teaching how the men are supposed to treat the women. We're the men that's teaching how women ought to act, how men ought to act. Play on.
That is sharing how he's growing his business, how he's providing for his family. When you start to listen to this podcast every single morning, every second that you're listening to, it is reprogramming your mind to see that this is actually normal, that there are men out there that are good, that are healthy, that are respectful. And what you are doing is you are replacing that father.
We talked about foolish addictions, right? Aren't our people foolishly addicted to drama? You don't want to hear no podcasts with no positivity. Aren't our people addicted to the H.O.E.S and the baby mama culture? So our people would rather watch something right now other than this class that perpetuates what? The foolishness and the folly that they love to see. They would prefer that. But she's saying exactly what we mentioned in classes before. In order to come out of the foolish addictions, you got to do what? Replace that thing with wholesome things. Play on.
Figure from wounded to healthy. Now, because you've cut out the unhealthy masculine energy, it feels like an ick for you when an unhealthy man comes into your life. It's no longer familiar. What we are attracted to is because we are familiar. So why this inner work is going to change you is because it's going to change what you're familiar with, and that is going to change what you attract. And so cut out unhealthy masculine energy and add in new forms of it. My relationship with God has been the biggest one. When I know that I have my Father that I can trust, that I can surrender to, that I can depend on, it has replaced that old wound and has now only made me available for men that treat me with respect and that treat me with love. So this is the easiest way to heal.
So one of the ways to heal is that you got to understand that what you've been accustomed to, that's not the way things ought to be. So now you can start desiring something different, desiring to be treated the way a woman is supposed to be treated based on how the Bible says. Fathers can now start showing up for their children and their daughters in a different way. Husbands can now start showing up for their wives in a different way. Sisters can now start doing the internal work on themselves to heal those father wounds and to heal those negative stigmas that they perpetuate. Play on.
Your father wound. Cut out the unhealthy and add in what is healthy. Make it your new norm and start seeing the men that show up in your life. They are completely different.
Completely different. Proverbs 31 and verse 30. Completely different. Now understand, Proverbs 31 is a mother talking to what? A son. Good. And she knows from a woman's standpoint about what? She knows about women. There you go. She knows about women and how wicked they could be and how deceptive they could be. And she's teaching him. Read.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
So she's teaching her son. The type of woman that is to be praised is a woman that fears the Lord, a woman that keeps God's commandments. That's the kind of woman you want, because once you set up yourself like that as a man to desire that type of woman, it trickles down to your children, your offspring. Now, when you do get a daughter, now she can see an example of how it is a man and a woman supposed to love each other. You cancel out that generational curse. They see live examples of how a man and a woman ought to be. It starts with what? The men, right? That's why the woman here in this verse, she's teaching her son what type of woman he should desire. Good. Give me Sirach 26. No, sorry. Joel 2 and 25. Joel 2 and 25. And while we get in that, just give me, no one talks about the toxic mothers, because again, toxic mothers wouldn't teach their children what they're supposed to teach them. This woman was a righteous woman teaching her son. A righteous woman showing her son what type of woman is desirable. No, I don't get it. Listen. I'm seeing mothers tell their sons it's okay if your woman dressed like that. I'm seeing mothers say, oh, she got on a crop top and her, short shorts in it. How come it ain't shorter? No, I'm seeing mothers, when you bring home a righteous woman, guess what the mothers is asking? The mothers is asking, why is she dressing like an old woman with her skirt down there? You don't want a woman who dressing a little bit more sexy, son? And she would try to shame her son into choosing a woman that dressed the right way. She would ask, what happened? Yeah, she's in a cult or something? Because I noticed she dressing kind of like covered up. What's wrong with her? Son, I ain't raised you like that. I ain't raised you to, I want you to get a sexy woman. I want you to get a hot woman. This is the backwardness that we have. Toxic mothers, no one ever talks about them. Let's get that video.
Hello, my name is Shalakemia. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm not a fan of a double standard or a one-sided conversation. Something I see repeatedly in the black community is that black men are always labeled as deadbeat fathers. Let me turn the tables real quick and let y'all know something. There are some black mothers that are toxic out here as well. We don't have that conversation. That conversation needs to be had. There's a lot of children affected behind a toxic mother. We will sit up and tell our children, oh, your dad is nothing. Your dad's never did nothing for you. He doesn't want to be in your life. But then on the flip side, when it comes to a black toxic mother, you know what that child is told? You only get one mom. I said what I said. And my name is Shalakemia.
She said what she said. And in order for us to get back to basics, get back to, how our women originally used to be, we got a lot of work to do, but it starts with doing the internal work, healing. Brothers, you're going to have a lot of work to do, giving an assistance and helping hand and helping, your counterparts to heal. We got to be better men. We got to be honorable men. We got to lead the nation. All right, to be able to help our wives and help our daughters and help our women in the nation, we got to be honorable men. But sisters, you also too, in order for us to get back to basics, you have to acknowledge that yes, our women have perpetuated those stereotypes. And yes, you have internal work that you need to do as a woman to heal those father wounds, heal those daddy issues, so that you don't now bring children into the world and pass it on to them. You understand that? Because you can grow up in a home with both father and mother, but it was still broken in that home. It was still broken. And so in order for us to get restored, let's get that Joel 2:25. In order for us to get restored, the work has to begin now.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 25. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten.
So yes, we're going to be restored in all things, right? Physically and mentally and spiritually. We're going to be restored, but the work has to begin now. Read on.
The cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you.
Good. So everything that the Lord sent against us to take us out because we breached his covenant, he's going to restore us. But part of the restoration begins when we wake up to the knowledge of what was done to us systematically, so we can change our behavior. We can help fix ourselves so that Christ can deliver us out of this hellhole. All right? Give me Zephaniah 3 and verse 20.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 20. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth.
So right now we're not a name among all people of the earth. Right now we are like the scum of the earth. But the Lord says he's going to bring us back again. In order for that to happen, we must take accountability. Sisters, you must take accountability. You must heal the father wounds. You must identify what. Don't be like, I ain't got no father, I ain't got no issues. You know, when these classes come out, everybody likes to look outwardly and be like, well, I see it in her, him, and him, and him. No one likes to be like, well, you know what? I see this thing in myself. Everyone wants to look without. No one wants to look within. And the restoration is going to begin when we look within. There you go. Every man and woman must look within. So I don't want to hear in none of the discussions, in none of the talks that you will have of how you're looking at everyone else. I want everyone to find out and look within themselves as to what are the things you need to start healing and working on from the inside. All right? Otherwise, you're not going to be part of this prophecy right here. So it says in Zephaniah 3 and 20, he's going to bring us again. Come on, read it from the top. Zephaniah 3 and 20.
At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth.
So this is beginning to happen right now, where our people are coming back to who they are, and they're doing the internal work to start working on themselves. If you want to be a part of this number right here, you have to make sure you start that work right now. Read on.
When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord.
So the prophecy says he will turn back our captivity. He will bring us back into the land. But in order to do so, Israel, we got to come out of these stereotypical ways that have destroyed our communities. Brothers, we got to be honorable. Brothers, we got to raise honorable daughters. We got to stop the father wounds from occurring even more. Sisters, you got to take accountability. And if you are already on the journey where you've started the internal work, help a sister who hasn't. Show a sister, each one teach one. Try to show a sister who has not began the internal work on herself how to do so. Right? Show her from the class that yes, these things are a thing. The father wound is a thing. And then start to help her with the work. Because in terms of work being done, things need to be actualized at first. All right, Israel? So we're going to end it today at this point right here. All praises. Let's give it up for the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai. All praises. That's right. Thank you, Israel, for tuning in on this week's class. All right. We pray that you had some epiphany, some light bulb moment, something that went off in your spirit that made you say, aha, I got it. The thing that I need to start working on, I got it. I know why this mentality is inside of me now. I know why I act the way I act, or sometimes I perpetuate certain actions. I see it within myself. So now I can make that change. Don't just look at the class for everybody else like, I see it in this sister, and that sister. No, you got to see it within yourself. And when you see it within yourself, now you're a help to another sister who hasn't seen it for herself. Everyone gets it. So all praises. Thank you once again, Israel. Don't forget your alms and your offerings in the description bar below. All praises. And so we want to just thank you once again and continue having an amazing Sabbath day filled with, much rest and, family, productivity in the Lord, of course. All praises. And with that, Israel, we're going to sign out. Most High in Christ bless.
Yahweh's mission. Worldwide units. This is not entertainment. This is our mission. Yahweh's mission. Everywhere we go, four corners of the earth, let the whole world know. Teach repentance, bring the light, march in the truth, day and night. Yahweh shines where we declare, from SK to and I, yeah, we everywhere. From St. Kitts straight to New York, black, we now whisper truth here, how we talk. Lost sheep scatter mind them chain. Knowledge of Yahweh free them brain. Captive mentality, we break that lock. Scripture in a hand, truth pan the clock. Law and order, heaven's decree. Repent and rise, no war never be. Who we be? Yahweh's army. Where we go? Yahweh's mission. Everywhere we go, four corners of the earth, let the whole world know. Teach repentance, bring the light, march in the truth, day and night. Yahweh shines where we declare, from SK to and I, yeah, we everywhere. From St. Kitts straight to New York, black, we now whisper truth here, how we talk. Let's get to China and right to Guyana. This truth real, not propaganda. Repent and rise, mess away. Yahweh mission every day. Yahweh mission. Everywhere we go, four corners of the earth, let the whole world know. Teach repentance, bring the light, march in the truth, day and night. Yahweh shines where we declare, from SK to and I, yeah, we everywhere. Everywhere. It's a mission, not a moment.
nobody true there. It's a Sabbath day, whole family, don't ignore that. Come real near, sing a song, dance a dance, be happy, be merry. It's the Sabbath, don't miss it, be grateful, be cheery. Kitchen's clean, food already made, clothes laid out, yeah, we plan to stay. Books open wide, scriptures on display, learning His word in a righteous way. Did you really keep it if you stayed alone? Sabbath for the people, not a screen or phone. Congregate, come together, that's the call.
This is a CBS News special report. We are following a series of catastrophic events unfolding in real time across the globe. Stay with us.
Yeah. 6 days pass, 7th is a go. That's when truth start to really show.
Saturday we set apart.
The truth of Christ transforms us.
Check your heart.
Saturday we set apart.
Do our part.
Pay close attention